Good evening. You are listening live to the Extreme Movie Show. I am your host, Rob, broadcasting to you from the Pine Hills Palace, west of Orlando, Florida, from the Great Midwest. RDV is joining me tonight, and we are continuing our every other year review of Jack Reacher on Amazon Prime. In this case, it's season 4, episodes 1 through 3. And RDV, I got to tell you, regardless of politics, regardless of the way current Hollywood is with the writing and all the changes going on in pop culture,
Yeah.
one of the shows that I have enjoyed over the few years, having read a lot of the books, certainly not all of them, has been Reacher, and Alan Ritchson's done some good stuff. Um, I'm not sure how big he's going to be, how small, but he's definitely got some output out there, and he's very, very busy. And I hope he does a few more seasons of Reacher. I was really curious if we'd get a drop off in quality in this one, because there's some things I don't like that they're doing, but that's just my personal taste to it. I will say with these 3 episodes, I've been entertained. I think they know what they're doing and how they're doing it. I'll just make some minor nitpicks about some stuff here too. We got some hot women. We got a great opening gambit to get us kind of locked in. We get some of the smarmy writing and everything else there too. It's pretty solid. It seems pretty mature, like it definitely knows what it is. But I've enjoyed these 3 episodes so far. I wanted to know what your initial take is before we start diving in.
Well, here's the thing. With as far as the show goes, I've always enjoyed Reacher. What I don't enjoy is that for every season, this guy has a virtue signal and say something bad about Trump or whatever, just to help drum up attention to himself. And then the show comes out, and then there's none of that what he preaches in this series. So I'm just thinking, like, what are you doing? Because you're not drawing anybody to watch the show. You're doing the opposite. But then again, I also
believe they spend a lot of money on it. I give them credit for it because it does look like it for the most part. But yeah, I guess they can just do whatever they want and alienate half your audience, you know?
Well, here's the thing. This is what I believe. I believe a lot of people are not. There are a lot of people on social media, but I think there's a lot of people who aren't on social media and don't even care what these people say because they don't hear it, and they just watch the show and they turn it off. They don't like it.
Sure.
And honestly, for me, for the most part, I don't. If I'm not on X, that's where I get a lot of my stuff. I hear people talk and stuff, pass me information. If I don't hear about it, I don't know about it, and I watch the show, and the show is good, I support the show. I don't support the actual person. I've never done Hollywood. I'm be like, I like this, this person's politics. I don't give a shit about your politics. If you make me laugh and you do a good job, and you're not there to preach to me about coronavirus or anything else going in the real world, because remember, this is fantasy. I don't want, fiction becoming nonfiction.
Right.
When you cross over like that, it ruins everything. It takes me out of it. And the same with comic books. So going into this, we know we're going to get. We're going to get Reacher. He's going to be a badass. We're going to get an episode where he's shirtless, and then he's going to bang the chick that he's trying to protect or whatever.
Pretty standard stuff.
It's standard Reacher, and they're going to have a bad guy. Now, so far going into this, I gotta say this is better than the previous season. As much as I love Anthony Michael Hall, there's no character in here that's to me that's equivalent to him. That I find annoying. This actually is straight up forward. Basically, Reacher now has come to a town and he's on a train and he's sitting down and there's him. He's looking over. There's 3 other people, at least a fourth witness. And the guy looks kind of nervous, you don't know what he is. You see this Asian woman, she's sitting down, she's got her hands in a blue bag. And the first thing he thinks, oh, she's got a bomb.
Right.
And I'm thinking, well, Reacher, you're white. That's racist. You don't assume because she,
It's the behavior. It's not the race.
Behavior. And so he's goes to approach her, and he's not sure what's going on with this. The other 2 people, one guy's got pizza and he's putting like ketchup or hot sauce on it.
Ketchup, I think it was. Yeah. I'll say this. I will eat pineapple on a pizza. I know some people think that's wretched, just like some people don't like ham and other stuff. But nobody puts ketchup on pizza.
Well, it turns out that's part of the actual thing, because when he goes to talk to the police, he said, I knew one of them was, Buckovia or whatever, because they put ketchup on pizza or something like that. That's like a thing. Mm-hmm. So it wasn't like a left out loose. It was just kind of like to help identify, the clever way they can identify who the people are. So he's on the train there, and he's in his, this is after he just got done. Oh, why is it not showing for me? There it goes. Yeah. He's on the train there, and he just got done coming out of a bar, and he's in Philly. He's at a cheesesteak or cheese whiz, they call him. He goes down and he's in the subway. He sees her in there, and he's like, "Hey," he's like, "Can I see your hand?" And she's crying. And he's like, "Can I see your other hand?" And then she pulls a gun out. She's got this revolver, and he's like, "Hey, you don't need to do this." And he's like, "You can't." She's like, "You can't help me. No one can help me." And he's like, "Whoa!" He's like, and she literally blows her brains out right in front of him.
Right.
And he's like, "What the heck?" The next thing you know, he's pulled into the police office, the police station down there. And they're like giving him the runaround. He said that he's at the table. You got the black cop, and then you got the white cop. The white cop does. He's basically typical old cop. Like every show you watch, The Wire, whatever. All they care about is making their pension and getting out of there.
Mm-hmm.
And if you have the other cop, who is played by Sydelle Noel. Her name's Tamara Green. She actually is, becoming a main character in this.
Mm-hmm.
She is no different than when we had in the first season. We had the black cop that basically, became like his sidekick in a sense. And that's what's just
that guy was, I believe he was the black lawyer, and it was the young blonde girl that
she was the sheriff's deputy. Yeah,
exactly, in the small town.
Yeah. So so he's like, "You have nothing on me, and we're just waiting for the feds, whatever. Well, we're waiting for feds. Can I get a cheese wag?" He's like, "What do you mean?" She's like, "What do you think? I'm gonna go get you a cheese wag, because, well, it's late. We're gonna be all night, and you're gonna want breakfast." And so they're sitting there eating, having the Philly cheesesteak. She's like, "Damn, these are good." He's like, "I told you."
Well, the thing up to this point that I really liked, I think they do a very solid job of, is obviously they get you hooked earlier, and you're watching. Not a lot of dialogue, whatever, but you see him as a professional in his element. He's on a train with 4 people, and he's trying to talk to her. So he's going through your typical hostage negotiation tactics, or that, like, I need to see a hand, and he's got his hands up, kind of like in a universal disarming type of situation, and she's crying and all that too. So he gets her to do one hand, but then he realizes it's that, and he's talking to her, and it's escalating. This is a well-written scene. I think showing a woman killing herself and seeing how distressed she was, obviously that.
Well, here's the thing: they actually show the brain matter going out of there.
They do. That's my point. Is they started off, and I say with a bang, not as a joke, but literally like, hey, they went dark early, quick, and so we usually have a murder or something that happens. But I like the idea of the author lead child. Every year he like just goes somewhere on his own and travels over the summer, something like that, and that's like his story. And I always loved in the books, and even here, how it's a little bit different, right? It's not a James Bond opening, right? Or it's not this or that. And so this is cool because it's a mystery and you see it unfold. And so when this happens and they're questioning him, they talk about the 3 people on there. And if you were paying attention and watching, you go, no, there was 4. There was da 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 da. And when he explains stuff to you, he's telling you how his brain thinks. I'm like, I always enjoy that about the show. Early on, we always get that.
Describes, because he's sitting there, they're interrogating him. He's like, "That's 4." He's like, they're like, "No, there's only 3." He's like, "No, obviously there's a 4th guy in there." And they're asking him, and the one guy, the actor he plays Sean. He's their detective. He's asking, he's playing the bad cop, and he's like, "What is this, bad cop, bad, even worse cop?" It's like, because they're interrogating. He's like, "What thumb drive?" There's a lady. I went over there, poached her. He's like, and they're like, "No, you went and you killed her." He's like, hold on. If you have no proof, you're stalling. And just I love it. He is basically just. Yeah, the way he describes every person that's on the train by detail and their body characteristics and how they are. He's like, telling him I was a trained ex MP, so I'm trained look for people who are in distress and stuff and try to basically diffuse the situation. And so eventually they basically cave and realize they don't have anything really on them. He's like, and he gets he's like, well. The feds come in, we get snap, crackle, and pop.
Yeah, that's what he calls them. The one thing I do appreciate about the writing with some of this is that the utter disdain for when you're being an asshole or rude like this one cop is, and that reminds us how a lot of cops we don't like just because they are jerks, right? Yeah. And then you get that taken to a like cops on steroids, which are the feds, and that's going to be snap, crackle, pop. These guys that don't want to say anything, they look tough, and they're not really going to do anything. So we've seen this before. We'll see it again. and it never gets old.
Yeah, I just love the fact he's like, well, you're not gonna tell me your name. He's like, oh yeah, all these get your snack, crapple, and pop, and all that. And I love he just humiliates them, and these look like Chris Parnell fans. They're pushovers. He doesn't know. They're supposed to be feds, whatever, or CIA. He's not sure, but he says, but he basically, they ask him about the drive, and he says, what drive? So basically, he's like, well, since you have nothing on me, and I'm free to go, I'm gonna leave, and he leaves. And then just they can't do anything about him, so he leaves. Immediately, he goes outside. He gets jumped by these two
not so big ethnic individuals.
I want to say, were they Indonesian?
Indonesian.
Yeah, Indonesian. And they attack him. And he's like, yeah, nope, sorry. And just quickly deflects him, because they're looking for the thumb drive. He's like, I don't got no thumb drive. He goes into the diner, and he sits down right across from the brother of the victim that killed herself.
This guy did a good job of going like he was really rocked, because he's a white dude, and a girl on the train that blew herself up was Asian.
Yeah.
So you're like, what's the connection? We find out they're a brother, okay, and they're adopted. That's going to come into play, I bet. Exactly,
because here's the thing: is like it's a mystery. So we don't know anything about the sister yet. We just know that apparently everybody's looking for this drive. Yeah, including the FBI, and they got these other group of people try attacking, looking for the drive, and the brother's distraught. He finally adopted. He's only a cop in New Jersey, and he talks about how they grew up in a small town. He's like, and it's like, I had such mate over there. I don't have to worry about this stuff, and now it's just like, it's so overwhelming for him. He's like, well, as Richard's talking, he's like, hold on, give me an hour. He's like, and he looks like he sees a guy. He's got a MacBook out or something like that, and he's drawing on there. He's like, hey, I'll give you $50 for your jump drive. He's like, what? He's like, dude, I'm offering you $50 for obviously more incredible worth than it is. Take the $50. So he takes the jump drive, goes outside, and then follow those two idiots he beat up. He's like, here, take me to the person that's looking for the jump. I have the drive.
I love it because it's not. He's just diving straight into this mystery.
And the other thing too,
it's really good.
The other thing, they got this ordering like a waitress who's like, if coffee, you got to sit at the bar. If you're ordering a plate, you can sit down at the booth. And I'm thinking, like, man, what a bitch. You might forget. So
don't get me started on prices changing and tips being added without your knowledge or consent, sir.
Exactly. So he goes and sits down. And he meets this girl named Lila, and who supposedly is her mother on the right. This woman on the right does not speak. And Lila gives this speech, says, oh, I have a type of cancer like this. And yeah, the
what a smoke show we got going on here.
Yeah, Lila. Yeah, she is.
He's bad them, and you know what? The mom's hot too.
Agnez plays Lila Hoth, and then Anggun is the woman on the right. So she comes out and says, "Oh yeah, the reason was that we had to be secretive because because we were sure we could trust you or not." But she comes clean and says, the woman who was stealing the dump drive, stuff, as far as I know, she works in HR department. So she doesn't, she doesn't have access. Yeah, the Pentagon. And it's all about that you're going to try and blackmail the senator, John Sampson, and saying that this is I'm the illegitimate daughter and stuff, and they want to do DNA test, before she dies. And this is the line they feed him. So Reacher, taking at the time, he didn't really show.
They reeled him in.
They didn't show signs of doubt, so he must have either bought it or just wanted to play out a hunch.
They reeled him in. I think they got him on that.
So they end up pretty much, talks to her, and he ends up, I believe, after this, going to before he confronts the senator. I think he goes to the library. That's right. If I'm correct, really, if I remember correctly.
Well, yeah, they're doing what they're doing is they're trying to figure out the story of this guy and if he was in like a special forces unit, getting involved in stuff. Because when you're in special forces and you work off record and all that, it's usually the CIA gets involved and you overthrow government. So they talked briefly about how he was related to somebody else that's really a bad name that comes up later. So yeah, they go to the old-fashioned library and they ask the lady, where's the stuff at? The old stuff. Him and the cop are doing it together, and the guy's in shock. So Reacher has him as a tag along. So she's like, oh, the old stuff, the military archive records, That's in the basement. So he goes in the basement
yeah.
to look up stuff.
She didn't say She didn't say his last name. She said John. He was this guy who was 19, a Delta Force soldier named John, who didn't know. And during a station in Indonesia in 1998, yeah, and she needs a bone marrow transplant, but can't ask her mother due to her kidney disease. So they have to go with the military database. This is where they go to basically the library, the public library, and all the archived military files in the basement. Reacher goes down there, and he's pretty much looking for stuff, and then this guy shows up and tries to stab him with a knife. Reacher.
These are smaller curved knives, I think.
Yeah.
We saw them similar with another group, so I don't know.
These are your Bear Grill knives.
It's a special. It's a special one. So the uniqueness makes it identifiable to me as well.
And basically, yeah. So basically, Reacher blocks it with the book, and then the book falls on the ground with the knife. And when they're fighting stuff, and they're fighting in between these sliding bookshelves, they basically are able to move around. Reacher gets this idea. He's like, well, I'm just going to crush him in between them. And the guy is trying to grab him, and he's got the book holding the handle and the knife. He's trying to put his face, and Reacher's got his face back. And Reacher keeps pushing, and the guy gets crunched, and you see blood come out, and he's just like, motherfucker. So he takes him out of this. What I love about this, he's like, you see him, he just drags you the blood trail. If you don't see him first, you just see a blood trail. Then you see him throwing the guy into the old coal furnace. These to heat these buildings with.
That was amusing to me.
Yeah,
he leaves him
there. Well, you remember the last time, was it last season? I think they tried to kill it. A guy was fighting against. He threw him inside the concrete. What concrete?
Yeah, in one of the seasons. Yeah.
Yeah, and just buries him in there.
and he's very practical about it, where it doesn't seem to bother him. And that's what I like about him. That's the fantasy part of it to me, besides the size,
So I thought that was interesting, So yeah, and they go back to the diner, and he talks to the guy again, and I think his name is I think it's weird. Is it? What was his name in this?
It's Merrick.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Jacob Merrick.
He's a cop.
Yeah. So he talks to Merrick, and he says, "It's looking okay. We need to go and look up and see about your contact your nephew Ben, or and they keep reaching him, trying to reach him. By this time, we're getting into the second episode, I believe, which is called
the end of the episode was pretty interesting because after the detective thing, he basically calls her out about it, where it's just like, oh, I'm sorry, blah 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 blah, and lets him know what's going on. But he's driving to her a hotel because she said, if you find anything out, let me know. Here's where I'm staying.
Oh yeah,
and so they get into a fight, and it's a pretty good fight because it's a close. We always say this when we review martial arts films. It's a close corridor fight, right?
They're in the hotel room because they go
and
after.
As soon as they frame the shot or whatever like that, you're like, okay, the dude's going out the window, and he does, and then after everything, Richard checks on him, and he's like, oh shit, and then the guy landed on a thing, and that's kind of where it ended. I thought that was pretty good, except what made this episode surprisingly end well?
That's not where it ended, actually.
Right, there's one more step to it.
So yeah, the guy reaches in the hotel with Lila. She just got out, and she just got out of the shower. He runs in there, tackles the guy, and as they're struggling, the door and he bumps the door closed, and it pretty much hits Merrick back in the face. He's got his cop, and just he's knocked out. And then, of course, the guy gets tossed out the window, and he falls down, and he lands on his car. And then he sees guys start shooting at him, the unmarked black USV. So he decides him and go down into he says, hey, Merrick, I'll meet you at the subway. Breacher goes down and runs into basically this guy here, and they got a tranq dart. So they shoot him once, and then they shoot. He's like, this guy's shot me. He's like, gonna beat the shit out of you. He's like, and they shoot him in the neck with another one. It's like, I'm thinking like it's Will Ferrell again. He's got one in the neck, and he basically gets knocked out.
I'm gonna bitch for a moment here. The guy's got a suit that doesn't fit necessarily horribly. The main dude here without the gun, but he's got, it looks like a half Windsor there going on. But I can't stand it when people either, if you wear a tie, you button up your shirt, and when you do that, you're supposed to cover up the fucking button. I hate this half-ass lazy thing. Yes, when you're symbolizing I'm off work and you loosen the tie and all that stuff, just take the fucking tie off. This annoys the shit out of me. But you can tell this is the serious A team as opposed to the other scrubs we saw earlier.
We don't know what he is. As far as
it's black and white, it's CIA.
They're thinking they're
Gotta
assuming
be,
it's
right?
AI. Yeah, but remember it's Black Ops team, so you don't. Anyway, though, it's not even the guy's tie; it's the guy's haircut. And it's the stupid haircut that everyone always has, the shaved side and the hair back. Oh, I hate that.
Sorry,
Anyway,
I didn't realize you. Go ahead. I didn't realize
so
that
Reacher,
bothered you.
so Reacher wakes up the start of the next episode, called Cage Fight, and Reacher is pretty much strapped to a chair inside a. There's 3 cages, four cells, and then there's a room. I don't know. All I know it's a basement or something. Whatever Reacher mentions, he says it's musty down here, and it's decaying. It must be a basement or something. And the other 2 looks over the 2. He has Tamara and he has Jacob are also in there. They're in cells. He's like, why am I on strap? He's like, well, you seen yourself? You're a gorilla. It's like, so the guy comes in and like they're gonna the doctor is like, you're injecting. He's like, Reacher tells the guy, he's like, you stab me with that, I'm gonna stab you in the eye, and the guy says, hey, how about we can go hurt your friends over there? You're gonna stop resisting? He's like, so they basically put him in like you would for prisoners for transport. You got the 2 chains on the hands, they're limited, and they got a chain going down the feet, and they bring him into the room. And of course, Reacher, I love about this is he's very sad. He's like, I'm gonna put you all to sleep. Pretty much after interrogating, he's like,
You know who did that the best?
Who was that?
Bruce Willis, Last Boy Scout. You touch me again, I'm gonna kill you.
So they're asking him questions.
Gonna get too.
I love this because like they start asking him questions. And he's like, no, I'm gonna start asking. He's like, he starts asking them questions back. And he's like, no, we're the ones asking questions. He's like, no. And yeah, so basically, yeah. The guy's name's Foster. He demands he wants an American jump drive. He says, why is this on your jump drive? All this, drawings on there and stuff. Yeah. he's like, yeah, I know. It doesn't really much of an artistic side. It's just, and basically, yeah, Reacher has been caught for that. They're the torture. He's basically Green and Merrick, Tamara Green, and he says he's like, dude, it's like, you're not gonna do anything. You're going to sleep, any money mile. It's like, it's like, what? And of course, the guy with he knocks the guy over, and he's able to shoot both the guy on the left and then the guy with trank darts, and after he chokes out the guy with the trank gun, and he ends up going into where the bars are. It's like he's oh shit, I can't get the out because he can't find the keys, and he already knocked the other guy. Shot the doctor with the trank gun. Goes outside. And he has a remote for a car. He doesn't know what it is. Grabs what is he going for? A weapon? Goes in there, retrieves basically the car jack. For jacking tire jack.
Yes.
And you're like, what are you doing? The bars. He's gonna jack. He's like, wait a couple minutes. You're gonna jack the bars out. Until while he's doing that, gets them all in there. Then a bunch of CIA guys start showing up in waves, and they have to pretty much defend themselves. And Reacher just does what he does, kicks ass throughout this part.
I got 2 things I want to mention here because this is a key point to me in this episode for 3 episodes. I mean, obviously it's been pretty solid. We've come to expect certain things and we're not disappointed and it's not boring. I don't mind it kind of being a similar setup in a new situation. That's wonderful. Yeah. The action I feel has been a bit pared down. It doesn't seem as physical to me. Obviously her blowing her brains out is shocking and and all that. And I don't need a warning or whatever. Mm-hmm. But between that, some of their stuff, it's a bit more CGI-ish. So I'm not feeling the brutality that I did in the first season. So I hope that change. I'm just telling you, I hope that changes. And it's hard to do the same thing over and over again every episode, but it's how you do it, right? So I like this thing where there wasn't any dramatic music to tell you who's going to kick their ass. It just happened, right?
Yeah.
The problem I have is, again, we see teams forming, and okay, this black lady cop, she's going to help out. The brother's who's a cop himself, is going to help out. Okay, so we see this ragtag team that he's falling around. I like how he kind of gets involved with people.
Yeah.
But literally in a proverbial nick of time, as they're leaving the site or whatever like that, we get some fuckhead out of nowhere that's a journalist who worked for like the Times and this and that.
Yeah.
And I don't know if he's supposed to be like an Alex Jones kind of knockoff character or like that. But he's supposed to be a journalist who cares and gets it right and got blacklisted.
Guy's
And
named
he's
Russell
literally the
Crowe.
guy that helps him escape. And they introduce him. I'm like,
Yeah.
are you fucking kidding me? I did not like this at all.
This would have been this put him in the Seth Rogen thing. Come on, I'm gonna save you. Get in.
It felt so bad to me. I'm serious, man. This I went, are you kidding me?
I'm thinking like you can't just steal one of their cars, you know, or it's one thing else too. I was like they use his van to drive around in. And here's my own thing. This guy is a journalist. He says he was he tried exposing his bank is involved with with the feds and all CIA stuff that they're they said on the story. So when they did that, they basically discredited him. So he's been spying on them, but by renting out he discovered that there was where Reacher was a CIA basically drop, so basically our purchase site, Black Ops site, and he'd been spying on that building because he bought the building next door, or at least paid a rent. He was condemned, right. And he saw Reacher comes in, and stuff. So he's got this van and he's got these quick way peels to try and get away. But I'm thinking, like, you're an idiot. Your car is the same color. It's dirty as fuck. Most people, if they're a work van, they clean. They go for car washes.
DC is one of the most wired countries too, man. They would find it. This is just bullshit.
Yeah.
Him having a VPN and being offline to do his research. Get the fuck out of here.
There's cameras everywhere, you know, and so unless you're changing your license plate, but even then, it's like you have your vehicle sticks out. The only way you change it is if you have a crossover or Mazda or whatever, the same color that everybody has, like 30 of the exact same ones. You just keep changing the license plate. But anyway, so yeah, they meet this guy and pretty much they use him for his vehicle, and Reacher, where did they drop him off? Because I don't remember. Because I remember the other two go look at Merrick's sister's place. Check that out. Well, Reacher.
Yeah, exactly. That's the whole thing to it. So this is where I like it when they do detective work. So they're basically going to go look at her apartment. They get attacked by an agent, whatever like that. Then they get a phone call, coincidentally, which is shitty writing, from the football coach about the guy's nephew in college who left with a woman. So they're looking into that. Reacher went to what was it that he did there?
I remember.
They went to the frat house with the boys and all that too, and he saw somebody leaving because they were asking about it. And this is where it was kind of interesting, but also look, it's kind of lighthearted, but it's also prevalent. It's a current thing or like that. The one guy basically said, "Yeah, I saw the girl that he left with, and like." He basically said she's got an OnlyFans page. It's like, what's OnlyFans? They're trying to explain it to him. It's like, oh, okay. Because I was thinking honeypots.
Well, because the football.
The guy's like, well, I don't want to say anything because I paid her for like her feet or well, like that. Was it smelling degenerate or something like that?
That's what it was. Tamara pretended to be the Merrick's sister, and they got the phone guy, and they so all three of them end up going. Well, first they end up going to talking about the OnlyFans. I think that's before, or is it after they look into look at.
It's after they look at her place.
Yeah, because and
that's when he went to the frat house and all that.
Yeah, they went to the frat house because I'm trying to think. It's like because I remember they had to go. But yeah. So anyway, so the guy's OnlyFans model, and they go look at the OnlyFans model place now, and they find the cat, the little kitten, or like they fucking take the cat with them afterwards. I thought that was funny.
They're passing around.
Yeah, she'd been cut up, and she's on her bed, and she's like, he's like, Reacher said, these are torture cuts.
Yes,
they cut her as much as they could before she died, before they killed her, before they slit her throat.
And we saw the knives earlier.
Yeah.
So we know there's a couple different groups, plus at least one, maybe two groups of let's just call it the government side. And
there's Stack Apple Pop, who apparently work for Sampson, the senator, congressman. They work for him. And there's also because Reacher goes after this, he contact Samson or Samson, Samsonite Swampson. I was totally no. So instead, he ends up running into someone else instead, and I couldn't believe it because I was like, who the heck is this person? And he originally he's gonna go. He wants to meet with Sam said John, a thing and ask him questions, but instead they show up at outside I think it's the Mall of Congress or whatever it is outside. They're basically in the DC area, a very public crowded area.
DC, yeah, to a fundraiser.
And he runs into basically his wife. This is later on when he actually finally gets a chance to go meet with them. Here's the thing: I don't trust her because she's very combative or defensive. Obviously, we learned that the congressman's running for president.
Correct.
So that makes me sense. Okay. Oh shit! If it's not him that's dirty, it's her. It's one of the two has to be doing something that the other one doesn't know about.
What was cool about all this is we watched it. This second episode going to third episode evolve is that I liked how Reacher went to there and he went up to the staff member and just said he'd like to see it. She's like, "Do you have an appointment?" And he's like, "No." And she's like, "I'm sorry, he's booked for today." He says, "We give him this note, please." And the note is, "Dead woman shot herself with your name on her lips," or whatever like that. And meet me at the National Mall. And this is where we first meet her coming up, and they've kind of vet the story. And so he gets like 5 minutes with him. And he's like, "I have absolutely nothing to fear, whatever." And he's like, "Even the blah, blah, blah from your dark days." He goes, "Even that." And the lady, his wife, who's apparently, I'm guessing, running the show, I agree. There's no way she could just be this tough without being implicated or involved somehow. Because this guy is so strong. It doesn't appear like she's the boss and he's a weakling, or he's the strong one, she's the weak one. They both seem like they are a power couple, 100% with each other on the same page. And he's like, "No, you tell her everything. We are completely like a rock. She knows everything that could ever come out about me, and nothing, This guy is kind of actually pretty good in his role because he doesn't come across as sleazy. He comes across as more of what I want to call like a right fighter, a guy that is a believer in something. So those kind of people that are idealistic, you really can't change their opinion about it. They're going to go down swinging. Whereas two-faced politicians will do business. But she's just like this the entire time, and it's actually pretty good. I like it a lot. I'm like, hey, this is how you make a woman kind of intriguing, mysterious, and tough about it. Because Reacher's like, well, shit, now what? He's basically stuck, right? That's the beauty of it. We're a few episodes in, and where the hell is this going? We still don't know yet.
Yeah, I'm trying to look up her name is because she's actually is this is Kathleen Robertson. If you don't know Kathleen Robertson, she was in that political series called Boss back in the day. Until 2012, she was in there. She was and before that, she was in 90210.
Oh,
that's where she's from.
Well, I don't know her.
She's always had that kind of like that whitish, mannish chin, and you look at her older folders. Yeah, she was the one that was always hanging out. It was always with Brian Austin Green on 90210.
She has a strong facial profile.
Yes.
Yeah, not delicate or whatever.
I don't know if she's had any facial work done at all. That's like Botox makes your face a little whiter and stuff sometimes. But right. I was looking at younger pictures of her. She's always had that natural. It's like, So anyway, though, I don't really trust her by end of the second episode. I don't want to trust her. And she's just kind of like, "Here's anything else?" Because she says like, because Reacher basically asked the meeting of them. He says, "Hey, did you ever knock up a girl?" And it's like he's like, "No, I never did anything illegally over there and stuff." I didn't. It's like, honestly, I didn't want to do anything whatever. So I'm open book, and you can tell as being a military guy yourself, if I'm lying, you'll know right away. Yeah. So nothing. Honesty is my policy. And so Reacher leaves. He goes downstairs. He goes to meet with Tamara, and because they're outside the hotel, and he talks to Tamara and talks to Merrick, and he says like, "Oh no," he's like, "Yeah, he's nothing to do with this," And he's like, "I'm not sure yet." And then he spots over and he sees this white guy he recognizes from the train, who's speaking to basically after we saw that
mystery rider number 4 that nobody could find.
After Samson's got into their vehicle, their whatever SUV, and he's like, "Oh, this guy is their chief of staff for them, as or security, whatever, and you're like, oh shit, this guy, now we know this is the missing guy." So going into the third episode, we got to confront this guy, but we also have some other shit that's going to go on, and I'll let you start us off with that.
Yeah, because the thing about here is we're getting a little bit clearer. But what I think is very intriguing here wasn't the fact this lady killed herself. I immediately don't trust the two Asian women because the young one who basically screws him, to thank him for saving his life. Well, I mean, and that's fine. I have no problem with that. She's a spinner in his arms. I don't trust her at all. The other one, I don't trust. I don't trust any of the women in here. But the only one that you can really trust, the one that seems like she
Tamara actually
drafted and all that, is the partner there, Tamara or whatever. And it's interesting. And I like how they're trying to smartly. They used to do this all the time back in the day in TV shows, leave you on a little bit of a cliffhanger. And it was because he's the fourth man on the train, and it turns out that's the chief of staff of this guy's team, right?
Yeah.
So that's the whole crux of this third episode when he goes back to see the guy running for president again and meeting him. And this is a delicate way to play it because either these two are really, really good, the husband and wife team, which I think they are because there's no way they're innocent. There just isn't to me. I don't know innocent of what. I have no idea. We find out that the hot Asian is a journalist, and that was her cover to get to him because of these bad things with the warlord.
What was it? The way the episode starts off, I remember because I just watched it. These episodes blur together once you watch them all together.
Sure.
Yeah, and so basically, it starts off with this episode, I believe, where they're in Plums, whatever. They're basically their secret hideout place that was outside the PSYOPs or the CIA thing, black ops site. Yeah. And so what happens is that he gets a mobile alert, and he's like, "What the heck's going on?" And next thing you know, he's like, and Richard's like, "What? Like, how the hell did these people find it?" He's like, "Well, you guys didn't going to give me anything, so I put out a feeler saying I had the thumb drive and stuff, and see who wants to meet, see who shows up." Well, these two teams show up. We get the CIA spooks, the one that Richard kidnapped him, and then we got this other group shows up. The CIA gets shot and killed. Yeah, these guys come in, and Richard's like, "Well, do you have any weapons here?" He's like, "Any forks?" And he's like, "No, I just get takeout." He's like, "Oh." So he grabs these little the chopsticks he had from the takeout, and Richard goes out. He's like, "Here, you guys watch the door here." And he's like, "Well, how we know when the signal is? Wait for the screen because they're at the door." They're on the fourth or third level or something like that of the building.
Yeah, he said this other train. They're going to do a level by level sweep. So blah 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 by the door. So
Merrick's got the fire extinguisher. Tamara's the only one who actually has a gun. Yeah, and
this was okay. This was kind of cool.
So they're waiting by the door, and he goes out the window. He grabs a ledge, and then drops down and catches the ledge again and keep himself on. And
that was not cool. That looked like shit.
No, actually, no. It looked pretty good because I like the fact that he is struggling, even though he's strong enough. He's still holding your body weight up, holding that looked realistic.
I understand the struggling part. It looked bad to me. That's what I'm saying. This season, it seems like I don't know if it's the stunt choreography that whoever's in charge, or if I assume it's all the same team, but it was a bit more visceral and over the shoulder camcorder the first season. This one, it seems like there's a lot of speeding up, and I forget what they would call the term of the camera that arcs from one spot to another that we saw in the Roadhouse reboot a couple of years ago, where they do that kind of stuff and do it. And that's what I don't like because that's unnatural looking to me.
Well, anyway, getting into this, he after he sees a guy sweeping through, they're going to go up there. They clear the floor, and he pulls himself in through the window. They're going to go up to the stairwell, go up to the next floor. That's where the Tamara and the rest of them are hiding up there. And Richard sneaks in the door where they're in the stairwell. He goes behind a guy and he stabs him in the eye with the skewers.
I love it.
and they hear the scream. So they open the door and they spray the fire extinguisher and they start shooting. Reacher starts basically killing the guys, and they keep one alive. And of course, what's his name? Guy Mercer. No, that's not Mercer. What's his name?
Merrick.
Yeah, Merrick. I want to say Mercer for some reason, but Merrick is irritated. He's obviously his adrenaline's up. He's pissed off because it's fucking his nephew went
in shock.
Yeah, he's in shock too. Yeah. He's gonna attack the guy, and Tamara's like, "No, fuck off." It's like the guy can't answer questions if you kill him. And Reacher's like, "Well, he's dead." It's like the guy died from his wounds before he could even answer anything. Yeah. I thought that was kind of funny. That situation. He's like, "Oops." Because that's the thing with Reacher. They always like, Reacher, I want to talk to the guy. He's like, oh, yeah, he's dead. It's like great because he has a habit of doing that through the series. I noticed it.
Yeah, and what I'm not liking is they make this Merrick guy. He's in shock, and I don't think the actor's doing a bad job of. But we already know that he's been a cop in a small town, right? They call him basically a cop from Mayberry. He doesn't like the big city and how ugly it is.
He's a cop that's never seen any action.
Yeah, and he's never had to pull his gun, and he mentions that. So I really appreciate kind of what the character is trying to say and how he's going about doing it, and the actor as well. But I'm going, what I'm trying to think of is again, everything goes back to the first episode to me. He's a foster brother, and he's in shock. He has to know something that can help that just hasn't come out yet.
Well, they basically they end up they go split up. He's gonna go talk to find he basically calls Lila and says, hey, they came here, they're gonna look for you, get out of there. And she was able to move herself. She calls him back and he's like, I need to talk to you. It's like, we're gonna meet. It's like, well, there's a bowling alley basically, and she goes to meet with them at the bowling alley. And Richard says, I'm gonna go by myself because why? He's like, well, I need the probe her for information. He's like, and Tamara's like, yeah, you go probe her for information, white boy. You know what you're gonna do. And they go, Tamara and Merrick and Plum go back to the station because, and then they learn that Merrick's sister, the one to kill herself on the subway, they finally found her vehicle. Had been missing before, and it was parked under a bridge. Basically where you would go rob another cop, like in Live and Not Die in LA.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they go in there, and of course everything's a toss up, but then they find a badge. You're like, what is this badge? So they basically steal it, and Plum's like, hey, if you steal this, you're tampered evidence again. But he's like, and Merrick's like, fuck, I don't give a fuck about them. I want to find my nephew, and I want to find the people that killed my, he's like, I want revenge for this shit. And so I wonder if Merrick's gonna get shot at sometime in this series. Remember, it's only the third episode in, but I don't think he's gonna get himself killed, but I think he's gonna get another talking, or at least get injured, shot in the shoulders like that.
I think what he's supposed to represent is his sister making the right decision instead of the wrong one, so he doesn't die at the end. But he's gonna be the sad sack character that's to tag along, which is what I don't really care for, but it makes it worse because we have this stupid friggin' so-called journalist trying to get the right story, because nobody likes a journalist.
What he is? He's no different than the journalist we saw on Bosch, who cares all about the story, doesn't care about the people. And it's always how I've come across. We've had these journalists. They hear more about themselves because he's mentioned, oh, this is a story, it needs to be told, and like no one gives a shit about the story. They just want the people who killed the guy's sister brought to justice. And anyway, so they take the badge, and that guy gives them the speech, and stuff. Where they go back to the station, and of course they have Sean, the other detective, her Tamara's partner, comes up. And he's like, "Oh, you stole that for the thing." And that's it. He's like, "Hey, if they ask me, I'm gonna tell him." He's like, and she's like, "Bro, go away. You didn't see any shit." He's like, "Fine, whatever." And they run the badge, and it's a level 8 clearance. And they're like, "What the heck is she doing? She had another job." He's like, "I don't know." And because you remember, she's supposed to be office personnel, HR thing,
right? She's a nobody. How does she have access to all this?
So they drive out, and they see that they're first, before they got there, they stopped at a chop shop that she knew, and so they got herself a vehicle to ditch the van so no one would find them.
Yeah.
And
just kind of sucks.
So anyway, they basically while they're doing that, they went to go figure out where this card goes, and it's a security site. Like, she's like, why? It's like, why the heck would she be at this? It's like this huge warehouse thing, and like a military base. And so Reacher though ends up going to the bowling alley, and he sits down with the mother and daughter again, Lila, and then of course they're sitting like they normally sat before, but this time. In this scene where Reacher, he's like, hey, I almost died for this shit, and I went and checked your stuff, you lied to me. She's like, come please, I'm a journalist, this is actually my mother. Turns out that the Delta Squad that John was in basically helped train this guy who basically warlord who basically started torturing and stuff. Her husband was murdered and tortured. She's the only one survived its torture, and they want to expose that the U.S. government's involved in this shit. In over in Indonesia, or whatever. So they're like, yeah, so this is what we want to do this. And she's like, I'm sorry. He's like, we lied to you. And then these guys show up.
Goon Squad.
One's at the door. He's like, don't worry. He's like, I'll make him sorry if we're going to get her. But then they find out another guy shows up with a gun. And it's a bowling alley. What I love about bowling alleys, you've ever been to bowling? They have these spots called midnight bowling. They turn the lights off and start playing. So they'll lose the lights
in the dark.
They've got this disco playing, and Rachel starts beating the guy, smash him, hits him head with a bowling pin, and just basically takes him out. And there's a big old fight scene with him, with the guy, and the guy's trying to get the gun. The guy he tosses him over behind the concession stand, and the guy grabs a knife. But Reacher says, "Fuck that!" Throws the guy's hand into the fire, the grease pit, for the fries. Burns his hand.
Yep.
They go outside the bowling alley, and Reacher ends up pretty much about to get his head bashed in. She shows up, Lila shows up, and hits the guy in the back of the head with a lead pipe. And he's like, "Thanks, He's like, "Well," he's like, "I stayed bad because I couldn't feel right, I want to leave because you did all this for me. I felt bad." So they go back to this hotel, and what's going. He's got his shirt off, and he's wiping stuff, stuff. And of course, he's not. This is the only thing I thought was so fucking annoying. You have wounds, and they're a little bit dirty stuff. This comes you painted on wounds. And you're wiping everywhere but where the makeup is, the special effects. And
it's like, seduction.
She's like, because he answered the door shirtless. He's like, you fucker did it on purpose. And she's like, here, I got you a shirt and stuff. He's like, here, let me do your back. They have sex, and then pretty much after this, I believe Reacher goes after this and confronts Samson again, and his wife, and he says, "Hey, you were involved in this adult," and he's like, "Well, hey, I didn't torture anybody and stuff, and stuff. Well, your buddy witnesses Anna kill herself," and he's like, "What? Your chief of staff?" They go talk to Nolan. He's already drunk. He's like, "I'm sorry." He's like, he feels sorry. He's like,
nice little rooftop bar that he's drinking shit face. Yeah.
Throws himself out, he jumps off the building and kills himself, and that's kind of how it ends.
Yeah.
And it's just like, fuck. It's like, and now it's kind of like at a dead end. But we obviously know that, so far, the wife isn't implicated in anything,
What I think is somebody that would kill themselves like he did there. And actually, that's 2 suicides that we've seen in 3 episodes. Yeah. So every other episode, we're getting a good whack job here. It's got to be something really dark, and of course, to me, it has to mean child smuggling. I'm not familiar with the novel. I don't remember any of the novels. I just remember reading a lot of them up to a certain point.
Whack job.
So it's just got to be something that really shakes them to the core, because it's just money, it's just drugs, it's just a warlord raping and pillaging. Big fucking deal. I mean, at least at this point. But that's the thing is there'll be a point here where they're going to like reassess everything, tell us as a viewer what's going on through their head, their thought process, and again, it's a bit of a chase, which I like. You don't have to have a lot of action, but just just give the feeling that they're wanted and they're having to move and all that. And again, the show's done a good job of making you feel that with the 3 episode drop that they have. It's a weekly drop on Wednesdays. I know we've covered all the other seasons. We like it too. So right now, nothing I would say glaringly bad or something that's changed the channel kind of heat or whatever. It's not perfect, but it's very solid. And I was just concerned that they might have relaxed a bit too much from last season going into this one. I did like last season. I felt a little more. I like when they're a little bit more private rather than government conspiracy stuff like that. I'm getting sick of that stuff.
First season, it was Reacher, and he had a small rig team. They didn't really interfere much. Second season was full on. I'm like, oh my gosh, like can we not do this?
Right, exactly.
And then I think the third season we got him where he was finally by himself again, but he was protecting the kid. So now it's like 4th season. It's like he's got a reg team group, but not as annoying as it was in season 2 with all his squad buddies. I gotta say, the reason I like this show because, and honestly, it almost feels like kung fu in a sense. Every season he's helping somebody new. It's like The Fugitive.
That's exactly what it is. That's the whole setup, and that's literally a moral tale. What's the thing that you have to confront each one, right? And you're right about the last season being about him and the kid, for sure.
So what I like about this so far, we don't know who the big bad is. Last season, they told us right away. He wanted the guy who basically killed his one of his friends, and so that was the big Chinese guy and stuff. And so this season, we don't know who the bad guys. We know we had some CIA guys in here. We had some spooks and stuff there. So, the one guy who was connected to everything killed his off himself. We don't know. The wife is kind of defensive, but then again, she could be a red herring because the fact that her husband's running for office.
They're dirty as fuck. Now, they may not be dirty in what Reacher's looking into, but they're dirty.
I don't think they're the top dogs, though.
I agree.
I think there's someone else above them.
Yeah.
So, which we haven't met yet. But yeah, these are the first 3 episodes that were dropped. We'll be on Wednesday is when the next episode drops. So we'll be reviewing these on Sundays, though.
Yes.
So look forward to these on Sundays nights at 7 p.m. Eastern. As far as our movie on Tuesday, still be determined, but we are looking at more as it's more Clint Eastwood stuff,
Yeah, I got a few suggestions. I'll tell you offline.
Yeah, but that is it for the tonight's show. Thank you all for tuned in, and if you haven't done so, please click like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, especially if you're on mobile notifications. Make sure they're all clicked to all, and go check out our previous playlists, and especially in this video here below. In the description, we actually have a link to all of our Reacher previous reviews. So if you want to catch up from last season, and we'll see you guys on Tuesday.
Good night, everybody.
At 8 p.m. Eastern.
Yes.
Until then, later. And thank you, Marani and Theo Dragon, who popped up in the chat.
Yeah.